Just got off the phone with Wayne there. Had some good updates from the Nefarium on the gold and silver side of things.
Oh, I would look forward to whatever you're willing to share.
Oh, it's not much different from what we already know. The world is collapsing quickly, and Bryce is saying that he thinks silver, based off of what he's witnessing, silver is going to be $500 by the end of this year.
Wow.
I mean, you think about it, it's a hockey stick, right? Already, or what is silver?
Mm-hmm.
It's already a hockey stick. From the highs it was bumping up against back then. All these highs are just, I got two things going on there. Oh my goodness. I tried fixing this. What the heck? What's even happening right now? It's like there's a, oh my goodness. Yeah, things are all messed up. I gotta sort this out later. So silver, today, let's go to the 2-hour chart. Look at that. Funny thing, 12 o'clock on Friday, right after market analysis, it just kept on going up and up and up. And then Monday, Sunday at 4 o'clock, went up and hasn't looked back. So already since the last market analysis, silver is up 16%.
Amazing.
$101 US to now $117 US. Don't sell anytime soon. And when you do, oh, it'll be glorious. It'll be a glorious time because everybody will be buying it with panic. They'll be like, oh, yeah, I want to buy it. What's your premium? 20%. Okay.
That's all? Just 20%?
And you can just take them for all it's worth. Like, pull an Enron on those stupid people for buying so late. Honestly. They were told to buy silver. They were told to buy gold back. I started telling people, my family, in 2011. And they thought I was crazy. Even after it was...
What was it worth in
2011? Yeah. After it... What's that?
What was it worth in 2011?
Silver in 2011. Let's go to the weekly chart.
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Now I added you. 2011. That was over back in here. Yeah. So 2011, May 2011, the high was $47.
Wow.
And it was at a high. It was all through here that I was like, no, we got to buy. We got to buy. Back when it was $41. And I know people who bought in these lows here below this white line. Lots of people. This was COVID, by the way. Oh, my thing's not lined up. I gotta remember. Right there, where the circle is, not the crosshair. The circle is COVID. Where it dropped all the way to, what is that low? $12? Yep, $12.28. So we are almost 10x from there. Almost 10x from COVID. Wild. So that's one thing that's happening. Silver is continuing to rise. Yeah, JP Morgans are, what's the term? Shitting bricks. Because they honestly thought it was going down. and they put their positions to it, and they are getting bailed out daily right now.
By
Look at that
whom?
weekly chart. The Fed. The Fed has to do it. Into gold, it's also creating new highs. What was silver? 15% since Friday. Something, yeah, 15% since Friday. Gold, since the close of Friday. Let's just zoom in. 2-hour chart here. Yeah, so we did market analysis, and it was at the high, and it stayed there for the rest of the day. And then Sunday, markets opened. Oh, there's my circle on the line. Monday morning, yesterday, markets opened at 4 p.m. Gold is up 2%. Again, the increments are going to be smaller with gold just because it's gold. But silver is definitely going to be the one to watch. You know what would be interesting? I wonder if there's a gold silver index in here. I know there is. Gold silver ratio. Yeah, let's go ahead and grab that, shall we? That's telling. This is gold silver ratio. Oh, Ian, I'm sorry. You got disconnected somehow. I'll add you back.
Can you hear me?
Now you're back on. Yep. Oh, and things disconnected. So something disconnected. That's what happened, and it dropped you out. I'll add you again.
Can you
added.
hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Okay, so my camera's not working, and every time I click on my camera, it pulls me out. So I'm not on my camera anymore. I don't know why it's not working, but
Okay. Okay.
that's a problem.
So there is something going on there. I wonder if Corey would be able to, like, if he came to your place and helped you fix that up, because something seems funky there with your computer and your camera.
Can he do it remotely?
He might be able to. Yeah.
Because I have another guy that does my stuff remotely
Yeah.
through AnyDesk.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. I know Corey uses that too. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
So gold silver ratio, this is the chart that tells us how many ounces of silver does it take to get an ounce of gold. And we can see that it has been volatile in the past. In fact, check it out how it swung all the way from here at 126 ounces of silver to get an ounce of gold. Right up here. And then drops all the way, and I got to draw it out here, so sorry about the straying halo there. It drops 49% back in 2021, right there. Dropped all the way down to there. That's 62 ounces. And it's been fluttering around, between 77 ounces and, we hit a peak here again at 106 ounces this year, just last year. Not even a year ago, it was 106 ounces and has dropped 59%. So it is now 60% cheaper to buy gold now than it was last year at the highs. 60%. If you just take the worst price of gold in accordance to silver, where it's the cheapest it was before was, we had some bad times. February 2021, silver was way up here. That's when gold was pulling back a little bit too. Still drops 31% from the previous low. The previous low was 63 ounces of silver. Now down to 43 ounces of silver. This will scream to 10. And it'll probably do a little bit of a whiplash too. So you might be ready to swap back and forth between gold and silver I found someone, just talking with Wayne, I found someone who would actually give commissions for referring gold and silver purchases to him. And they're pretty nice. So this will be a nice chart to watch. I'm going to add this one. Gold silver ratio. Oh, and I got to upgrade to add more, so I'm going to delete something here. Let's delete, what don't we look at very much? You know what? Market cap of Bitcoin. We don't look at that very much. There we go. I'm going to put this up next to gold and silver. Alrighty. Moving on, Japanese market still climbing up under fraud. They don't even hide it. Coming into Dow Jones Industrial Average Index, we've got some new maths to put up as we are looking for a D extension, final D extension imminent. We're creating new Ds all the time with this, but we remember the math that we're actually working with is the gold, because that tells us the value of the markets. Here, since October of 2022, at the worst time of the markets, it was 17 ounces of gold, and it has been getting cheaper ever since. Oh, even at the highs, it was at 20 ounces, just shy of 20 ounces. So now we're looking, where are we at now? We're less than 50% from those highs back there. 19.94 ounces. That is way less than half now. Today, we look at it simply by taking the price of the US 30, which is currently 49,343, and we divide that by the price of gold. And because gold is officially all the way over the $5,000 US mark, it is now 9.71 ounces. So the markets are collapsing and nobody even knows it. They're still talking about how things are good. Iffy, but good, they say.
Iffy.
Bitcoin dominance still button up against that 60% line. We are outside of that pennant officially with enough days of trading. But we can see that that line is providing more and more resistance. There was this one little attempt right here. It got denied, brought back below the previous high. Let's go into the 4-hour chart so we can see a little bit more detail. So there it bumped up and came back down, bumped up again, but it couldn't even come to the previous. Where am I at here? Yeah, there we go. So this here, we couldn't even come back to the previous high before it got pushed above that 60%. So this is not a good. It's just a trend. We're just looking at the trend. This coming down, forming this low here, this low being lower than the previous low. We definitely dipped down below that. Coming back up again, we are not able to even touch that line. It's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attempts since the 6th of January. 5 attempts for Bitcoin dominance to get closer than, what is this, 59.94? 59.94, 59.94. It's all 59.94. Nothing above that. So this low tells us, this low here, sorry, I got to look at my halo. I got to fix that pronto. The halo shows now that there is that's the low that we are aiming for next. So everything from here, everything from where we are now to that low is called recovery. What does it mean? It means that more and more the altcoins are gaining ground. The trend is, at least the trend over this period of time has been, the alts are gaining ground. And in fact, deeply consolidating. I'm going to, on this 4-hour chart, I'm going to show you another aspect here. I'm going to take away the trend line because we actually have more pressure coming from this 60% line. And then, of course, the upward trend. This is what we call an ascending pennant or an ascending wedge pattern. The highs pretty much stay consistent, the lows getting closer and closer together. This is energy buildup. Could probably do it a little bit more yet. The timeline shows is, going into March even, where we just butt up against this. With Bitcoin prices the way they are, not that it matters a whole lot, but we can see we've exited that consolidation and we created a new high here. This high from January 14th is forming a low now, but that low is having difficult time coming up against this one, the low from December 18th. So that's a marker. It's not confirming anything yet, but it's certainly a marker. This is a good sign from a trending perspective. Going into Ethereum, still consolidating, but we're now definitely broken outside of this pennant. So it doesn't really have a whole lot more meaning at this point. We are simply bouncing between bouncing between pivot points, consolidating on that longer time frame. Midnight on the 2-hour chart, just because it's new, bouncing hard up against this low of 5.6 cents. Last week I packed up a little bit more, traded some ADA. ADA also bouncing against this long term. Look at how it went down again. It went down again. C has now been moved. It hasn't broken market structure. Still doing okay from there. Nice deep retracement. Let's hope that's like the recoil, the coiling before the spring. Same thing with everything else. This one's Monero. Monero's definitely cooled off from the early January. It's come right back to where it was. It went up 72% in that period of time, coming back down in pretty much the same time, 10, 11 days. Coming back to where it was, old time highs. And
what would be the reason for that, you think, given the marketplace,
the reason I would say is because people made enough money. They felt like that was enough. I mean, this is the weekly chart now, we're butting up against those old time highs. So technically what we've done here is that we've went up, people made a bunch of money, and the price has come back down. It seems to be settling on top of that old high as support now. But we'll know more as the weeks go on from that weekly perspective. And on the daily chart, especially if we can keep this, we can keep that trend line, that'll be a good sign that we're probably going to create some more highs. Doesn't really mean a whole lot other than that people started selling. People started selling this. I mean, they made, a quick 70% in that very, very short time. That was only, 11 days from the previous low. 12 days. 94%. So it's just people selling off their nice quick gains. Ethereum against Bitcoin. This is just consolidating.
Could you take a moment to go back to Bitcoin Gold?
Yeah.
If you could, on the daily. Yeah.
This is the daily chart. Yeah.
Just that last little blip there at the, yep. Notice that gap there.
Right here, this drawer up
between
right
the
here.
candle between the candles.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Now you indicated that when that happened to silver going upwards, when was that?
Oh,
Back
yep.
back on the 18th, you said that that was an indication that silver would continue to go up.
Yep.
And here I'm presuming that this will continue, mean that um, Bitcoin will continue to drop against gold.
I believe so. I believe so for a while. For a while. This here, we have to remember that this jump in price would have been the reflection of gold against the US dollar more so than its reflection against Bitcoin. Yes, against Bitcoin, but they're using that intermediary dollar again, so that's why
Yeah.
that big jump. But that
Okay.
occurred. That occurred.
Okay. Very
Gold
good.
did it as well. Oh no! Look at that. It didn't went from one day to the next just like that. Oh, right. I apologize. The reason why this would happen on this is because of the weekend. Cryptos continue to trade. So this will pretty much always happen on a weekend.
Okay. Well, the silver happened, even though it was a silver in this case was against the US dollar. It wasn't a crypto, but anyhow, yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
the silver did it, and it did it again here. Friday 16th. And again, even again, not as much, but it did it again. Yep. Already, oh, look at that. It even made another high since we last looked at it.
Yeah. Wow.
Just keeps going, eh? Look at that. $117.73 US. Canadian, let's go see what that is real quick, just because it's nice to quickly grab that. $158. 161 for the high. And of course, just because I'm always interested, ADA. 341 ADA for an ounce of silver. This one's a really disjointed chart. Again, that'll be because of the weekends. Any questions? Tangents, rabbit holes. Anybody found a rabbit hole lately? SPX 6900 had a really good post that got a lot of traction on X, talking about how this is really shaping the way the next generation of traders are talking. Their language patterns even shifting, because if we can make it where their philosophy is that if we are in fact re-indexing the economy to cryptos, specifically the top 6,900 of them, of the tokens in market capitalization, that will constitute more of an index of what's happening within the economy than what the S&P 500 purports. And if that's the case, if that's what's happening, then it will shift the way people think about money forever. And I agree. Once people get away from, once people start looking at money the way that it ought to be, the way that it was intended to be, we will not be thinking the same at all. And movements like this, that's their type of thing. That's their thing. It was a really good post. I shared it as well on my X. If you go to my X, you can. I'm always, whenever I see stuff like that, I just go ahead and share.
Which movement are you talking about specifically?
SPX 6900.
From where to where?
Oh,
Oh,
the
from
movement. When I'm saying movement, I mean this movement, this community,
okay, I
this
gotcha.
massive people that are taking over taking over the narrative of how
Okay,
cryptos get traded. Yeah.
so in light of Larry Fink's comments last week
Mm.
about he's now the head of the World Economic Forum, and he's pushing tokenization.
Yep.
He's really pushing it, and last week talked about having doing it all on one blockchain.
Yeah.
What is the implication of that to something like, say, SPX? Like, I know the SPX community is like especially when you look at um, Marood's, is it Marood or Matud or whatever, his
I think it's
article.
Murad. Yeah.
You're at. When you look at his article, like, wow, that was crazy, incredible stuff he was talking about there.
Yep.
Um, it's very significant considering that um, the way people look at the S&P 500,
Mhm.
especially when you got one of those old gangster Bitcoiners who looks at the SPX and say they're just like we were at the beginning of Bitcoin.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then the question is they're anticipating SPX to be worth mega times more than what it is.
Yeah, their numbers that they're talking are a trillion.
Yeah.
It's a trillion market cap. I believe it. They are fanatic. Oh, Ian, if you were, I just noticed you muted. I thought maybe you stopped talking.
Yeah, I just coughed, and so I want to clear my throat, so I wanted to
Oh yeah,
mute.
good.
Yeah, I've been watching this one, and I'm actually glad it's going down because it makes it cheaper to buy. But you're all about dollar cost averaging.
Always, always. I've even thought like, what if I put some ADA over here? It's not because I think that this will. I mean, maybe this will do more than ADA. It's entirely possible. At the same time, I just look at the recovery. Oh, let's go back to this. I just look at the recovery of this. Recovery to the all-time highs are 5x. Right, and then ADA, yeah, ADA to recovery is like almost 7 or 8 or something like that. But I don't think that's gonna take a while longer than SPX. Like SPX is gonna experience its recovery way faster than ADA. Why? Because ADA's market cap is what is it now? Let's go look at it. The SPX. Okay, ADA market cap 12 billion. SPX 6900 is only 353 million, right? So it's not going to take much, and SPX 6900 is going to be way back up to its recovery way faster than ADA. There we go. But we've been chatting about ADA and the growth and all that stuff, and it's going to be awesome. I'm going to start selling ADA at $8 US. So I know things are going to go well for it. But I also recognize that when you've got stuff like small market cap with the quality of, yeah, diamond hands is a term, the quality of holders that believe so wholeheartedly in their community's ability to shift the way people think about the markets, because it's just that. This token doesn't do anything other than signify that you're in the in group of people who want to make a difference in how the markets are structured, period. Forever. To make it free market. So it's like you can't manipulate this stuff. That's what they're after. It has the capacity to exceed the market capitalization of ADA. Of course it does. And I think that we're just going to see things go rampantly wild with cryptos. And I think it's going to also tie in with things like stable coins. And the stable coin is really just the new version of the war bond. So keep that in mind. But that it's going to be a battle for whoever can be the most trusted stable coin. And whoever comes out on top is just going to be the whatever oligarch launched it for their ability to process all the data, right? But I mean, they can't stop what else is going on within this ecosystem. They simply can't. Like, there's not you can watch them play whack-a-mole and they'll never get anywhere, even if they smack one of us down, or 10 of us, or 100 of us. Because we're just going to spring right back up right where they smashed us. Like, they go ahead and squash us. Well, 5 others will just start. Why? Because the Cardano's open source, for crying out loud. A lot of these are open source protocols. ERC20, the Ethereum contract, it's all open source. You can go and develop off of it. And that's what happens. If there's a community that, dies out, especially if it's on the lower market caps, if it dies out, the community dies out because of a disagreement. There's usually 2 or 3 people that are like, "Oh, Will, we had a really good thing going on here. Let's continue that and reiterate on it and improve upon it." And then boom, 3 new tokens just all of a sudden appear with the same mindset, with the same alignment, with the same value. They're just trying again. And it's the same thing with when you try something for a while, you build something, right? And you're like, I want to make this really work. And you get some people together and they're all excited too. And then you realize, wait a second, no, it might not actually work out because politics get in the way. Well, then you just continue on. You just, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and try again. You know what? We'll make an adjustment. We'll just make a little adjustment to the whole scene, the whole playing field, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, it can't be worse than this. Look at this. Like, people don't get this. The markets are less than 50% as good as they were after Trump's big recovery because of how he recovered, right? He recovered things from COVID. It was him that did this. We all have to remember that he was the one who saved us. He has to keep saying it too in the media. And even at Davos, he did it again, saying how awesome his Operation Warp Speed was. One of the greatest military feats of all time, he said. Military. Yeah. And he wasn't lying. It was definitely absolutely miraculous. I mean, he got people to say, I want to have biochemical, what is it called now? Synthetic biological weapon, synthetic biological weapon of mass destruction. And ever since where he was said to have done the greatest of his work ever by recovering people from the catastrophe of COVID, the markets have gone down overall by over 50%. That's how much insane inflation. Yeah, of course communities like SPX are going to come forward. We're not the only people who are looking at the charts every day. Of course SPX is going to be a community that does does some serious damage. You know what? Speaking of damage, the People's Party of Canada, the purple party, they are not even close to a threat to the institution. And how do we know that? Because Diagolon was a meme and it has more of a threat to the institution. SPX 6900 is a meme and they have a greater threat. Even though they're small, they're a tiny little droplet in an ocean of trillions. They, because of their fanaticism and their ability to draw a community together under a banner, under a goal, under a mindset, under a value. This here is a representation of what a lot of people feel. SPX is just a tiny group of people that came together and said, hey, let's make a token. But there are lots of people who are like us, looking at the markets all the time, and they have all come together and said, hey, you know what would be amazing is if we had a little tiny coin that allowed us to trade back and forth between the different video games. And we want to create an ecosystem of people that build video games so that they can start utilizing blockchain to process transactions. And so then they came up with Polygon and Solana. You know, and there's a bunch of other people that said, we got to have something super private. There's Monero. ADA said the same thing. What they did was in 2017, before they even did any of this stuff, back in here when they first got started, what were they doing? They were helping Africans secure their equity with permissionless access to their accounts because warlords were working tirelessly to prevent them from accessing the banking services, to economically cripple them. SPX is just another one of us. It's another one of NPC is another one too. It's a smaller community. And what they do is they're a little bit more like me. They like to make fun of humanity. And so they made a meme coin to make fun of humanity because most of humanity, the masses out there, are non-playable characters. You can't, like, the light, this is the sad thing about the light. When you teach people the light, it's blinding. A lot of people find it blinding. You can't help them. You have to bring these principles to them with memes, you know, images and words. And that's how you help them. So then they created the NPC coin because they figured that this would be helpful to look at humanity in another perspective. And the funny thing is Clearpool is a real world asset token at all-time lows, currently at 3 cents. Just under 3 cents. And it's a real world asset. Like this coin, whenever people get these coins, it's because they're staking real world assets to their ledgers. Okay, well, that's great. Awesome. But it is also just another SPX. It's just another NPC. It's just another Superverse. It's just another Bitcoin.
What was that last one before? Oh, what's that? SP what?
This is Clearpool.
C-Pool.
Yep, C-Pool. It's a what do they call it? DPIN. Decentralized physical infrastructure network. Where this is where people can hook their computers up to the chain and provide. It's like another way to make a node.
It's interesting. I'm on SPX on CoinMarketCap. I don't see a rank.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, number 120. Right beside it, right. and yours
Oh
says
yeah,
122.
122. Yeah.
They've changed it, the placement of it, because it used to be further down the side. So anyhow, okay.
Yeah, they did change their layout recently, and I find it kind of confusing. Some of the things that I used to really enjoy looking at, I can't find in the same spot anymore. XRP is another meme coin, by the way. It's just another idea. A bunch of people got together and it's like, hey, wouldn't it be something if we made a token around this idea, around this value? And since the values of the creators of the XRP involve the stability and perpetuation of criminals in banks, I don't buy it. I think it's going to do great. Why? Because there are a lot of NPCs out there who still use bank. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's because the masses are still using that system, right? And so it's going to do well, especially over the next little while, until we have more momentum in the new way of thinking. And there's going to be two worlds. There's going to be people who are a part of this world who need it. You know, that's how they're going to need to interact with other people in commerce. And thankfully, there are lots of. That's what I like about this whole system. Blockchain itself makes it where, oh, okay, great, awesome. There are now two worlds. There's the world of people that are going to continue the patterns, and they're going to have their fiat money systems, and then there's going to be a world of people who recognize what money is, and they're actually tokenizing their assets. You know what Fink talks about. Yeah, we all need to tokenize. So don't let them tokenize it. You tokenize it. If they're going to tokenize it, then they're making the determination on how much it's worth. You could do that too. But that takes self-responsibility and all kinds of other things that a lot of people shy away from because it's easier when someone else can be in charge of that stuff. I mean, think about it. Audrey Lynn, if I was to tell you, say 2 years ago, if I was just to tell you to go and tokenize your life, you wouldn't have a clue what the heck I just said. But today, because you've been practicing a different language, now you can start to conceptualize how this all works.
Mm-hmm.
Audrey, same with you. Like the evolution, Ian, you and I, we've been chatting for more than 2 years. The more that we talk about this stuff, the more it becomes a second language to all of you. And then we shine our light so that other people can see how this works. But don't shine too brightly because it will blind them.
I talked to my son about getting into cryptocurrency. He just frowns and shakes his head.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. And it's funny because he's already using it.
Well, and plus he's in the games, online games and stuff like that,
Oh,
big
yeah.
time. And and I'm
Oh,
thinking
yeah.
like, you have no idea.
Where is my I haven't even seen my wallet for like a week. I don't know where it is. But I was going to say, like, you just if you're tapping your Interac, right? Or if you're even just using the chip and you're putting the chip into the reader, that's a digital identifier. And it's a digital currency that you're moving around. It's funny.
I think again, it goes back to that language that we keep on referencing, that people don't have that concept of, they don't know how their cell phone works, but they just trust that they're going to get a message.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing with these with the cryptos. It's I don't know how it works, but I'm going to be afraid of it because I don't know how it works. It's like, what?
Yep.
It's not a religion. I trust you. I mean, you could make it a religion if you feel you really need to, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's simply the exchange of life force energy.
Yes. So I'm officially moving this now. It's been a while since I marked that A, B, C, D, and yeah, now I've got that D fully marked off as where are we headed next? I don't know. I think we're going to see some major resistance. Let's actually plot out the good old Fibonacci. Again, I don't like to use Fibonacci, and when I do, it's because I'm looking for where uncharted territories are. I don't like to use Fibonacci when analyzing direction of market flow when we're in any kind of consolidation whatsoever. And that means, like in here, when we were in this area, I never would have used Fibonacci to try to figure out where are we going, because we already had some previous highs. And so I'm using the pivot points along the way because those are going to tell me more than Fibonacci. But Fibonacci is helpful when determining how further into the stratosphere will we be heading next. Where are we most likely to see resistance? And currently, with the form that we have, the next place we'll probably see resistance is going to be around 137 to 140,000. And then again, that I don't think it'll last long, because then I think it'll extend up to 156, 155 in that area. Those are going to be the two resistance points that we see along the way to finding that final D.
You don't talk much about KCS, the KuCoin token.
I don't know. I
You
should.
mention it from time to time, but is there a reason?
It's an exchange coin. And so
It's a
for
what?
me, exchange coins are they're just a token for the exchange. So
Like
what is
BNB is.
yeah. Yeah, it's just a token for the exchange. Now, it's good. I think it's great. In fact, I earn it every once in a while when making trades, because you can earn back tokens when if you save on a trade or something like that. Or you can use the tokens and you can get into DeFi on their platform with them. All kinds of different things you can do with it. It's got some function to it. But here's the thing, it's just another meme coin. And in the sense that we have remember those PvP versus PvE meme coins, how they differ. PvP, player versus player, meaning it's more peer-to-peer trading, where you are that's what this is. This is just trading, people who trade within one little ecosystem, one little location, that they are going back and forth in their trading. So it's a token for an exchange only. Meme coins that have environments, meme coins that are actually ecosystems outside of themselves, are things like the SPX and PC, where there's a community behind what's going on. Super is another coin, another meme coin, but it's around gaming. And they've got their own little hookups where you want to be a part of this gaming community because they make these wonderful developer games over here. Well, then you need to get some Superverse staked so that you can unlock your vest in that avatar for that game. All these different incentives. That principle is still being applied to even KuCoin or BNB. We are simply watching it happen at an exchange level instead of a meme level. Does that make sense?
Okay.
It's the equivalent of a player to player coin because it's all peer to peer trading that occurs within KuCoin.
Sure.
Will it do well? Yeah, all of the exchanges are going to do very well. I actually think I don't know. I could be wrong on this one as well. I'm could be wrong on all of it. That's the best part about this is that it's all just speculation. But DAO or BitTensor, Tau rather, it has its own exchange now. It's called what's it called? Something Bit something. You know, they got really creative with that name. I can't even remember it. That's how creative it is. And it's an exchange coin. But it's an exchange coin for all of the main players who are trading big data because BitTensor itself, this token is for, you know, the Googles. Like BitTensor is running LLM models behind these protocols. In the background, you got Anthropic and you got APIs with, you know, you can get ChatGPT hooked up, and I'm experimenting with all kinds of different open source models now on my computer. It's wonderful. But these guys here, they're running LLM model storage. So these are model context servers, they're called. Yeah, model context servers. And so this particular ecosystem is providing services for the Googles and the Metas and the big data companies under this token. And so then they created an exchange for all of those big players to go back and forth and be like, "Oh, you got some data there, X. That's great. I would like to buy some of that." They want to use this exchange that BitTensor created because that's their little in-group currency that they're using as peer-to-peer traders between all the big tech companies. It's gonna be wild. Oh, like, we're gonna see so many tokens come forward, and the tokens are literally look what the Flurbo is for the market, Audrey-Lynn. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just a token that a little community comes together and says, "Hey, let's use this to signify the means of trade between us." And you can do it big or you can do it small. BitTensor is the token that represents the actual value of the data centers that they're conglomerating. BitTensor created an exchange for all those conglomerates to trade the equity between themselves. Exchanges are the new banks. That's how yeah. That's how I would expand on that. That's a long explanation. I hope that helps. All of these need to be bought. Ooh, PAL coming back. Look at that comeback on PAL. When did this happen? This was at the end of the year. Well, yeah, I remember that. I remember this little comeback here, but I didn't see this new high. That's encouraging. If we can stay above this here, that's a good support.
Stay above where?
This is the 2.5 cent marker. Provided some resistance in the past. This is definitely a pivot point worth looking at. This high here, the next high we really ought to clear is this one here. So the next pivot point to really watch for, that will give us an indication of a trend, is this one here at 6.7 cents. Recovery on PAL from here, recovery is 30x.
Wow.
30x on PAL. I wouldn't actually bet on this yet, it'll be worth watching. I'm going to bring this down over by Ada so that we can have it in our minds here, right next to midnight. This one here is an important. This is an important infrastructure coin for gaming. So it's like they're a gaming coin, but their focus is in infrastructure. So it would be like a bit tensor, but just for little video game developers. And so, yeah, I would say that if we get up above this, that is indication of a recover. We're headed towards recovery. We would likely dip back down in here again. So I would say that if it went to draw a line here, we'll see a little bit of this, and then a retest, possibly a dip back in again. That kind of formation. That's what we're seeing shape up here. Some consolidation, but if we can get above this, then I would definitely be like, oh, this is worth buying, and I would start dollar cost averaging as soon as we have a little bit of a pullback on the ATR. So we'll keep an eye on this one. I'm gonna keep that line drawn. This is not to scale. I don't think it's going to take till March 2027 to occur. This will be, when it happens, it'll be a fairly quick, probably all within the next 2 or 3 months. I don't know if I got anything else, guys. My focus over this past couple months has been working with the machines themselves, get my own trained up. And this has definitely, haven't been doing nearly as much research on the different tokens as I have in the past. I'm still satisfied with the ones that I have chosen. What I haven't done is freshened the list recently. So if anybody has questions about one, or if they would like to, I'm going around drawing this thing. If they would like to maybe explore a sector, let's do that this week. Maybe we'll aim to do that tomorrow. So we'll actually go through CoinMarketCap.
I'm thinking of a comment that somebody made on the link that referred to Larry Fink's comment on single Bitcoin or a single blockchain. And the one individual on the chat comment on Solana being that natural blockchain to do that on.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not necessarily anticipating that that's going to fly or anything like that. Who knows what pressures they're going to put on the entire crypto world in order to facilitate that. But Solana seems like has always been a good, top quality coin.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, World Liberty Financial, which is Donald Trump's company that launched his meme coin, the official Trump coin, that company there also issues ETFs on the on Solana. It's number 3 in the entire ecosystem. Chainlink, which is another I think they're a wallet provider, if I remember correctly. What is Chainlink? What are these guys? Oh, it's an Oracle platform. Okay, so they're basically aggregating trade data within the ecosystem, and they're using Solana as their main coin. Solana itself, I think it's great. What they've done is awesome, because what they did was they got away from the transaction fees of Ethereum. Ethereum was just getting out of control with fees. Whenever the markets, like whenever the volumes are high, when trade volume gets high on Ethereum, watch out. Transaction fees will be $200 a pop. You want to move $5, it'll cost you 200. And so Solana got rid of all of that. Now your transaction fees are pennies on the same ERC20 protocol. So yeah, what they did was great. And I think that I would agree. It would make sense that would be a great option for, especially for a globalist initiative. I mean, look, it's ranked
So
number
Solana
7.
is a L2 coin.
I think it's no, I think it's an L1, but because if it was L2, like it would have like the contract address where you go
Okay,
and
sure.
buy the coin. So yeah, it's its own thing. It's got its own scanner. Yeah. So yeah, this will be a layer 1. Think. Let me just, yeah, like all the wallet addresses are, they're not your 0x addresses. Yeah. Yeah, I would say I would agree. I'm not a fan. Like I didn't dive into it, and I admittedly don't know a whole lot about it other than that it's one of the main altcoins that's going to be a part of this whole onboarding process. Like Solana, if you get a Sol wallet, like they're nice. They're slick, they're fast, and of course transactions are super cheap. A lot of the layer 2 coins, a lot of the meme coins love using Solana. That's why Trump used it, for crying out loud. Because it's just so easy to get in and out of these things because the transaction fees are so cheap. So yeah, I see it being a good one.
So right now I see us at a B point on the Solana chart. Or we could be on the long term, we could be on a C point.
Indeed. What the heck is going on here? How come it's CME? Well, we've actually technically on the daily, we've been consolidating since this area here, April 2025. I haven't created a new high or a new low.
Okay, well, I'm looking at April 25 being alpha,
Oh yeah.
May 25 being Bravo. No, go back. Right there.
Oh,
Right
May
there.
25. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And then June 25 being Charlie. And then September 25 being Delta.
Right.
Right there.
You know what? I'm gonna get rid of that because that halo is now starting to mess me up. Just gonna take that off for the time being. Should do it. Yeah, for the time being.
So would you look
yeah,
at that? Would you look at it that way, and then possibly change it given the current market from Alpha staying where it is, Bravo moving toward the Delta was, and Charlie being where we are now?
yeah, this here, the thing is that this low is lower than this low.
Yeah,
So
that's
because now we're lower, then this now becomes the C.
sure. So I'm
And
saying
that,
that. So I'm saying that back in April, keep that as the alpha.
yep.
Move the Bravo to September, the top, the very top.
I'm just gonna make these out here. September being the top. Yeah,
Right
B.
there. Yeah. And Charlie being where we are now.
Yes, potentially. Yes, absolutely. That is a good potential. I'm on the daily chart though. This one here, from a technical analysis perspective, we are simply at a C, and that this is D right now.
Yeah, that's what
And
I
that
meant. So Alpha back in April, Bravo up in September, and currently we're out of Charlie.
Yes, on a smaller time frame, I would agree. But because A came from the all-time high, this here is technically B,
Oh, I see.
and A is
Oh, I see.
technically
Okay.
here.
Very good.
Only because ever since B and C were formed, we've created no more new highs or lows. All of these highs here, they're still trying to recover, and they
Yep,
couldn't
I
quite
gotcha.
recover. So yes, I'm going to precursor. You were absolutely correct in your analysis of the ABCD form. If
On the
we were,
short
say,
term.
for instance, on the 4-hour chart, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, I gotcha.
But that BC right there, that's the current market structure that we're tentatively trying to break out. And I feel like from where we are now, if there was to be a crisis, see, well, we have to be aware that the banking elite are in the very final stages of transitioning this market over to the digital assets even further than they did in 2020. And as a result, if we look at how the programming occurred within Hollywood, especially the Marvel series, we can expect that there will be a great saving that occurs. And I am of the mind that Trump is going to be filling the role of that savior, in that he's going to be the one ushering forward the new monetary system as it's being transitioned, so that he can appear to be as having done a good job. And since the cryptos are ready to go, the ETFs have been sold now for 2 years straight. They've been selling ETFs like there's no tomorrow. This tells me that they don't expect the price to, if the price is going to go down, it's probably just going to retest C. At the worst, A. But if we look at the weekly chart on Solana, even what we're going through right now is really just butting up against the original D. And if you took the actual time, Solana's a new one. Solana's a new one and an enigma in many ways because of how instantaneous it was accepted by the market. And it makes sense. June 2021, Ethereum, you were looking at $50, $60 a transaction. Yeah, of course these guys took off right away. So what they did there could be considered B. But because this came down so far, technically, on the weekly chart, again, weekly charts, in this great reset, because Solana is post-COVID. So that's why it's kind of an enigma when it comes to these altcoins, because most of the other altcoins, they didn't come in so much later. They were already around, 2017 and 2018 even, right? So what we have here could very well just be A and B, and C might even be this. No, this would be B after that high. Yeah, no, this would be C. So on the weekly chart. Of course, be mindful. This is logarithmic, so it's not to scale. quickly look at the other one here. Yeah. Yeah, it's something. Something. I'm leaning towards the daily chart simply because of the lack of data that we have. Like, we don't even know if this is, like, technically that we can't really say this is other than A, and that, you know, this here was just alt season, right? That was the last alt season. So it peaked out and then it just went back to whatever it was doing before, which was nothing because it didn't exist. So technically, this could be the launch. If we wanted to look at the weekly chart. That daily though, definitely. Solana is to Solana from a technical analysis perspective on the daily chart, it has been consolidating. Thanks for bringing that up. That was good. And yeah, it's actually really good that you were able to identify those multiple patterns. That's called Elliott wave, by the way. Elliott waves are those A, B, C, Ds. And you were able to see that in that detail. That's awesome. A lot of people take a lot longer to identify that kind of thing. I like looking at this hockey stick every once in a while. So now the thing is, so what do we do? How do you know when to exit silver? That's the question. That's a good question. To exit silver. Oh, and we lost the other members. To exit silver, we're waiting for that. We're waiting for that drop in ATR. And it might be the drop on the weekly chart of that ATR, simply because it does take a bit sometimes. With the daily, we might see some false, signals, simply because look at how this daily, the ATR dropped, but the price was just consolidating and it took off. There was no real time, like you shouldn't have sold, obviously, right? Should have kept it. So this drop on the daily, we might ignore that, the first one that we see.
Okay.
We'll be watching for that weekly ATR to drop.
Drop how much though?
I would want to see, you know, something similar to what we saw here. You know, this kind of action here, where it just takes off, but then it starts to peter out.
Okay.
Again, weekly chart. And there's also other markers that we got to be mindful of as well. I won't be selling silver before the international trade negotiations for energy are like when all of those negotiations are redone, when they all with energy prices are going to be, nations are going to be renegotiating their energy contracts. That's what I mean to say. And that there is kind of now I'm looking for a selling opportunity.
Okay.
That's a big marker event. There, I think it would only be a matter of weeks before that dollar officially collapses, because all the countries that aren't signing up for the new banking system, they're in full awareness that the banking system that America is proposing is nothing but bad news. And they all know that the U.S. dollar, you know, it's lost its purpose. It doesn't have a purpose anymore.
Okay.
It was the meme coin for oil, and now it's not. Well,
very good.
You have a good rest of the day.
Yeah, well, we'll see you at what, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock?
Is that when it is? Yeah.
I think that's when we're supposed to.
Let me just double check because I
Yeah,
thought
2 o'clock.
Yeah, 2 o'clock. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, man.
Right on.
Talk to you then.
You bet.
Bye bye.
Bye for now.